Welcome to the Find Your Place podcast, where we talk all things real estate, self-development, and entrepreneurship. Today, we have the wonderful, spectacular boss lady of the decade, Kate Broddick, joining us. Say hello, Kate. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you.
Thanks for being here.
So, little fact, I am part of Kate Broddick's team, and Jess here has yet to meet her. So Jess, I feel like you might have a few questions for Kate before I get into it.
Yeah, so this is our first time meeting. Kate, thanks for being here so much. I think we connected on Instagram. I don't know if were you on Clubhouse?
You know what? I was, so Justin Conoco,
yes.
He is a friend of mine and owns a brokerage in London. And he actually introduced me to Clubhouse. So I was one of his guests twice.
Oh, nice.
That's my only experience, but I get all the notifications because I don't know how to turn them off on my phone.
Okay, so that's where I might have seen you at first. And then obviously I checked to see what someone's Instagram page is, and I connected with you there. And then I found out that Bianca was working with you, and I was like, I know her. I thought, well, know you online.
That's
so
right.
It's nice that you're here with us today. Tell me, how did you two connect?
Oh.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I do know this. And I was hoping somebody would ask me.
Okay, good.
Because back in the fall of 2021, we were hopefully coming out of this pandemic. We saw the bright lights ahead, and a mutual person that we both know, Elle, who her and I connected on social media like all of us do, of course. And I was planning a women's event. And we were going to have a lunch somewhere in the GTA where all these wonderful female realtors were going to get together and collaborate and kind of just let go and let loose and enjoy each other's company, because we had been each other's cheerleaders for the last 2 years through this pandemic, and we had never met, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And so Elle actually put me on to Bianca and said, you have to meet this woman. She is amazing. Her energy is great. And because you're so into energy, you will love her. And we actually met first at Kathleen Black's summit, the Ultimate Team Summit. And Bianca has such a special energy about her. And as soon as we met her, we were like, this is our person.
That's so special.
And she started telling us about the journey her mother went through when she came to Canada. And she was so inspired by it and just her lived experience that I think all of us really connected with her. And since we've connected even more, obviously, she had given me a call to join my team. And she was in Niagara, we're in Brantford, and we just felt like we have to make this work. Mm-hmm. And that's how it started.
And here we are.
Here you are.
And here we are.
Yeah,
which is great.
It's like, Kate, I just want to call you and let you know that I am looking for a team, but I really want you to be the first one to have the opportunity to get me, as if I was like, you know?
That's what I was just about to ask.
Like, I'm going to bring my value up. I'm going to make myself look really good. and Kate was like, with open arms, absolutely, with open arms, get over here. Let's do this. So
this is your first team that you've joined?
This is my first team that I joined. I initially joined Revel because there was a team that I wanted to be on, and that didn't pan out exactly the way that I wanted to. And yeah, it was, this just goes to show you that everything happens for a reason, and nothing is a miss, and nothing
Amen to that.
Yeah, nothing is a loss ever. It is just guiding you where you're supposed to be, and I'm supposed to be right here with this one.
Yeah. So how long has it been?
January.
Yep,
since January. We met in the end of November.
Yep.
Then we had that girls' dinner or lunch that we, I think there was 20 something of us.
So many.
And then we started speaking, I think, early on in December. And by January 4th, she was just on the team. Yeah. And it was like one of those things. And actually, when Bianca joined, there was 3 other new agents that came on as well.
Nice.
And they have since really formed a good bond.
We're bonding now.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Kate is on this serious expansion level. We really want to hear a little bit about how you went from how many people at the beginning?
We went from, if we even just go back 6 months, we went from 10 to 24
very quickly. Yeah,
very quickly. Yes. And it was so I've been licensed for just over 10 years. For the longest time there was about 6 of us, and then we slowly started to evolve. Mm-hmm. And when I joined Revel, I had a much more clear vision of what I wanted to do with the brokerages. And so now we have the Kate Broddick team Brantford, the Kate Broddick team Norfolk. Yeah. And I feel like we have the tools and the mindset in place now to really expand and leverage at the same time where it will be mutually beneficial to everyone on the team. And since Bianca joined, we've had 4 new agents, including herself, plus the 2 guys that come on for support. Plus we have 2 new agents in their courses set to be done in August. And we've done 4 new hires on administrative staff. So we're at 24 plus 2 nighttime staff. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's been crazy, but it's been very intentional. I feel like the people we've been bringing on add great value and great aspects to our culture. And once we have our bricks and mortar, it'll be amazing.
Amazing. You're all getting to my questions.
Yeah.
So you don't have a space yet that is...
We have a space. It's just being renovated. So we have our Norfolk office. I bought the building back in October, November of last year, and I took possession of it this year.
Nice.
And
Congrats.
It's now being gutted to the studs. A lot more than what I had initially anticipated. But once I got in there, I was like, nope, we need to start blowing this roof off, which I literally did. I raised the roof by 2 feet. Everything's been torn to pieces, essentially.
Share what's going to be inside there for your snazzy agents.
Oh, I can't. It's a secret.
Okay. When can we expect to hear
June 1st for Norfolk.
Okay.
Brantford, I get possession May 1st. Okay. And then it's going to be an aesthetic. It's not going to be the level of renovations that I had to do on Norfolk, but that is set to be open August 1st. And we're going to have our own spaces, and Revel loves to have a theme or a special aspect to their offices. And so my Norfolk office and my Brantford office have something very special for the agents and the community.
Give us a hint or no?
You're teasing us.
No.
I don't even know, guys. This is
But it's going to be great.
So I want to talk a little bit about scaling, about your vision and how you went from your 6 agents, even prior to that, to having the courage and the mindset to move forward with taking on all this work in this new office. Like what was the catalyst in that? Was it the coaching? Was it resetting your vision? What was it?
I think resetting the vision was a big one. Originally, I wanted something small, but I felt like I was stifling myself. I was like suffocating the visions that I had because I was almost a little bit too intimidated to move forward with something on a grander scale, right? It's our ego. It's that imposter syndrome, right? Like I don't know if I'm capable. I don't know if I can do this. I was so busy in my own business. And then something clicked when I started to realize that the more I put into what I want, the more I'm going to get out of it. And I think I was trying to really play off of what everybody else wanted for the team. And I was stifling my own growth because I was listening too much to what the people around me were saying, like, oh, you're going to be too busy. You're not going to have enough home life. And yes, there's been sacrifices made, but I would say that the scaling has happened the way that it should have happened, where every time we added a support, we would add another couple of agents so that we would always have a balance so that our support staff could really cater to our agents and our agents felt the support they needed in order to grow their businesses.
How many support staff do you have?
We have 7 full-time, and then we have 2 part-time nighttime staff to help with like showings and feedback and bookings and stuff like that.
Right.
So in total, we have 9 and we have 15 agents.
Ooh. That's amazing. No, I think that's very important. Having support staff is essential to running a successful business, and clearly like it shows, right?
So I can attest to that because I went from having to do all of my own administrative work to having these wonderful, capable people on Kate's team. It's honestly a joy. There was a point where I was making deals and not feeling inclined to make deals because of I know this sounds crazy. Okay.
I already know what you're going to say.
I have a really difficult time with paperwork. I believe that success, Kate, if I was to define success for myself, it would be never having to fill out another form or wait in another line again, period. Full stop, blank. That's success for me. I cannot stand administrative stuff, and to be able to just like give off all my stuff and be able to focus on the people part of the business, which is what I love, what I'm good at, is the biggest gift ever. So I appreciate that there's a staff member for every type of need that all the agents have. So
well, that's like if you look at any large business, right? And with any large business, there is always someone that's responsible for something, right? And oftentimes I think when we look at real estate agents, brokers, whoever it is, we think of it as like a one-man show, but it's not. I mean, it can be, but at one point you're not going to be able to do all of the work on your own, right?
I just saw Kate as Beyonce and all the backup dancers and all the people who set up the stage. That was the vision I just got. It was like Kate being like this, and then all of us behind her.
You know what though? It's what I love most about Bianca is the recognition of what her genius is, right? And everybody has those geniuses. And let's be honest, we're not all amazing at everything. We're absolutely not.
We can try, but
or we can say that we are, but we know we're not. You know what? It's about tapping into each person's genius on the team and really heightening that.
Yes.
And for most real estate agents, it's the relationship part of it. And I actually, funny enough, I sat down with Andrew Perry a couple of weeks ago and I said, let's be real here. Real estate agents suck at administration. They suck at it. They are not good at it. And I mean, once again, not everybody, but I would say for the vast majority of the people I've experienced, their genius or their capabilities really lie in the relationships building. So why not build this culture out where we have amazing support staff who their genius is organization, task management, keeping the agents on point, making sure their paperwork is flawless, making sure that the back end of everything, website, social media, is all taken care of, contact manager. Let her go out and do what she does best.
Yeah.
And that's build relationships.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So when you first started, you said a little over 10 years ago, how soon after did you hire an admin staff?
I was 3 years. So, I mean, once again, I had a very non-conventional start to my career. So within 3 years, I was the #1 realtor in Brantford. And a city I've never lived in. I was GPSing myself out of my driveway. But I was good at those connections. I came from a dental hygiene background, so I had to have uncomfortable people as patients all day long. That's right, scaling their teeth. And so once I hit a certain level of transactions, I started to realize that my care was starting to suffer, because how do you do your social media, your website, your administrative, your follow-up, client care? You can't do all those things at once. So I hired on the 3-year mark, almost to the day. And that was my first hire. And then I hired a second administrative staff, and then I started slowly building up the agents. But I really found it was an important aspect to have those foundations and systems in place before I brought somebody else in there to work alongside me, right? And I think that a lot of people, they think, well, I should have another agent. Well, you should have another agent is great, but you need to have a foundation for them to kind of go off of. So then that way the two of you are working together in similar ways to get the job done. It doesn't have to be the same, but at least you have like a system to follow.
Yeah, you've got the journey, you know how to get from point A to...
Yeah, and then of course, you grow and you do trial and error, and all of a sudden, you realize what's more efficient in terms of tasking. But that's really how we started. And but I would, and I've said this to everybody, looking to start a team or join a team, you need to have the support staff. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right, because if you're just starting out, you get this first agent going. Before you know it, you become the admin staff, and then your business takes a hit even further.
Exactly. And you need people to help guide them, keep them on track. I mean, once again, like, a team shouldn't be Big Brother. It shouldn't be all eyes on you telling you what to do, because you are like self-employed, right? You are running your own business. But it should be someone that's there to help you with accountability, to motivate you, to grow you, to make sure you know that you have the support that's needed. Someone there to back you up if you're kind of in a pinch. I mean, our business is never like laid out in the day. Like we can be turned on our head by 11 a.m.
Yeah, literally.
Right. Yeah. So if you don't have someone there to help you kind of pivot, like oftentimes we'll be on the road and then all of a sudden we'll get a notification. We have a preemptive offer. You need to submit it in a couple hours. And you're like, I'm in appointments. What am I going to do? You call up your support staff, get your offer ready, send it off to the client, right? Like, you need to have that in order for a team to really feel supported.
Going back to that first 3 years, I want to know what the catalyst was for you. What was it that you think differentiated you from all of the other? There were probably a lot of Brantford agents that could have come on top. So what was it about you that separated you from the rest?
Well, I would say there's a couple things. One thing that I find that it's hard to beat somebody who won't stop, right? Like, the consistency that I have is pretty paramount.
Oh my God, if you see this woman's schedule, you don't know how. There's not
I
like
want to.
7
Will
of her.
after.
You gotta just show us like your team up.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
You can't give up, right? You have to set a goal, set a path, set a journey, and you have to stick to it. And you're not going to see results right away, ever. Like, I mean, there was times where it would be 3-4 months. I'm like, my God, I'm doing the same thing. I mean, I'm reevaluating my process. I'm not going to do something that's not going to work for me. But I knew that the work I did 30, 60, 90 days before was going to be what came to fruition 30, 60, 90 days later. So consistency was huge. The other thing is just genuine care. Like I genuinely care about people, and it's more about the relationship than it is about the transaction. If people trust you and they know that you're there for their best interests, the transaction is going to come. Mm-hmm. If you're going for the transaction only and you care less about the relationship, it's not going to work. So I think that that's one of the things that happened. I like to connect with people on a deeper level. I actually genuinely care about the people that I talk to in a day. Not to say that other realtors don't, but I find that, everyone always said, like, we just feel like we can trust you. We feel like you have your best interests at heart. And I did. And I do. And I still do. So, but the consistency, it's really hard to take someone down who just will not give up.
Okay, so tell us. I wonder, what does your day look like? Walk me through it.
Well, Monday to Wednesday, I wake up at about 3:30 in the morning.
That's a fact.
3:30? What time do you sleep? I thought I wake up early.
No, 3:30.
3:30, Monday to Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesdays, and
She
Wednesdays.
sent out emails at like 3:45 a.m., okay?
You know what? I've got a young family, so it's got to come somewhere, right?
Wow.
So
Okay.
I am up at 3:30. I get so much work done between 3:30 and 6:30. Like I probably get what an agent would get in a week done.
Right.
I have scheduled emails, so I don't ever send clients
She just
emails.
taught me this yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I just want to make sure I put in this offer on time. She's like, schedule it. I've been doing this for 2 years. I was like, schedule it. There's an option to schedule it. You can literally send out all. She's like, how do you think I send you guys all these emails? You think I'm sitting there all day? Like, I have things to do.
So essentially, you're batching your emails the way we batch content.
Yes. And so just think about it. If you're up at that early, I don't want people seeing emails come into their inbox at 4 a.m.
Me too. And I've done that before, and they probably think I'm crazy.
But if you schedule it to arrive at 8 a.m., you are on top of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So everything gets scheduled in the
Wow,
morning.
she woke up and she emailed me right away.
Yeah.
She's like, I've already done my gym. I've sold 3 houses. I've written a book.
Well, there's a lot of caffeine involved. But yeah, 3:30 to 6:30 is 3 hours of administrative. That's 9 hours in 3 days. I always do my gym. So I have my cardio for half an hour, my strength training for 45 minutes. And then by the time I get inside, I've got 3 kids under the age of 8. So I have to get their breakfast and lunches and get them off to school, right? And so by the time, which my husband's the one who does bring them to school in the mornings, by the time the kids are off, I've got from like 9 o'clock until like about 4, and it's like go.
So what does go mean?
Morning messages, making sure that all the admins are checked in and they have their days planned out, follow-up. So I do about 2 hours of lead generation and follow-up a day, usually between the hours of 9 and 11.
Even at this level.
Every day.
Yeah.
You got to feed the team. You got to make sure that we constantly have business. Making sure that our marketing is on point is usually from about 11 till 12. And then if I have showings or listing appointments, we do touch bases once a week with all of our agents where we just, give a call and say, hey, like, what's going on? Do you have any barriers? So between me and Allison, that's what we take care of. And then, just like your day-to-day routine, like showing houses, listing appointments. I'm usually in bed by about 9:30 those days, and then Thursdays and Fridays I'm up between 4 and 4:30.
I was
so
waiting
you get
for
to sleep in.
I was waiting for her to say 7.
No,
That's Saturdays.
No, it goes from 3 to 4. That's it. That's what she gets.
Wow.
Yeah, but you know what though? I mean, think about it. When you've got kids at home, where does the time come from? So instead of all that stuff that a lot of people do at night as realtors, I do it really early in the morning. So then when my kids are home, dinner, playing with them.
You guys just got the secret to success in a sentence. I would reverse this, rewind it, and re-listen a few times, because there it is. That is the thing. If you're not doing it, it's likely causing some sort of inaction or some sort of non-forward motion that you'd like in your life. that waking up before everybody else and getting that stuff done when everybody else is scrambling.
Uninterrupted time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our day is full of distractions.
Yes.
You know those little notifications on our phone? They don't happen at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm not getting, I'm okay, sorry. I do get text messages because my clients know I'm awake, but I don't answer them. I think by the time 8 o'clock rolls around, that's a comfortable time to start answering texts.
Yeah.
But between 3:30 and 6:30, social media doesn't matter because nobody's on it. Right? You're not getting notifications on your phone. You're not getting phone calls. All those distractions happen usually in the afternoon and the evening when you're trying to sit down and hammer out all the follow-up that you have, right? That's why I say when I say 3 hours of uninterrupted work, it is honestly probably a week's worth of work for somebody else.
And that's every day.
Every day.
Monday to Friday. Yeah. Jinx. Yeah. So that's a week's work every day, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Imagine how far ahead you can get.
How long have you been following this routine?
Well, the 3:30 has only been for about 6 to 8 months, but I've always got up at about 5. So 5 a.m. start was my normal routine. And then as the team grew and whatnot too, and I was like, okay, like it's not that I need to work more, but I need to work more efficiently.
Yeah. Keyword.
That's right.
That's what it is.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I find that, I'm not a big night person anyways. I mean, Monday to Friday, what am I doing? Right. I mean, and once again, at the odd time, like I'll have like a later evening because somebody threw in an offer and I'm going to bed a bit later. But I'm also someone who, when I sleep, I sleep. And when I have downtime, I have downtime. I never, ever fluctuate on my gym routine and my morning routine. So if I have to stay up a little later one night, it's not a big deal. I'll catch it up on the weekend. But I do find that in uninterrupted time for 3 hours is like, if everybody did that, you'd be so shocked at how efficient you would be in the day. Like I'm not scrambling at night being like, oh God, I didn't lead gen, and oh my God, I didn't follow up and I didn't get to that email. Nope, I don't do that. And whenever I'm in the car driving, it's like I already have my list of people I'm calling. So like on the way here this morning, I had 3 people I knew I had to talk to. I got them out, done, ready to go, and that's it.
Ooh, she took advantage of that hour
Always.
and a half drive.
Yeah. You know what? I find that's when I love making my phone calls.
Yes.
When I'm driving, I don't know what it
too.
is. Maybe because I'm not like sitting
Therapeutic.
at a computer screen, but it's so free flowing and natural. That's when I make all my calls.
Yeah.
I'm just on the road. But sometimes people just want to talk the whole time. I gotta go. I have to make another call. So.
Yeah. But you make your list of people.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
always have a list of people that every time I'm in the car, who am I going to call? How can I utilize this time? Because otherwise it's dead time.
Of course.
Right?
My thing is podcasting and books. I'm on like my 8th book this year.
Audiobook?
So yeah, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Audible.
Yeah.
Big
Me
shout out
too.
to Audible.
Me too.
Yeah. And podcasts, obviously. All the podcasts that, the neighborhood produces, obviously. But
I had another question. Sorry.
oh, tell me. I want to hear.
So you had said that you were GPSing yourself out of your driveway.
Yeah.
So what brought you to Brantford?
Well, actually, we were in Burlington, and my husband is a chiropractor, and he really wanted to open his own practice. And being in the GTA, it's really saturated with healthcare. And so the dentist that I had actually been working with at the time opened a clinic in Ayr, this like little village. And I helped him open it. And so working there, I really fell in love with the small town people. They were amazing. Just really good values. They showed up for their appointments on time. I know this sounds crazy, but when I was a hygienist in Burlington, like it almost felt like nobody had any respect for your appointment time.
Yeah.
Like no shows like crazy, cancellations like crazy, short notice cancellations. And Ryan was finding the same thing in his practice that he was working at in Toronto. And so, being in Ayr, the chiropractor that was there at the time actually left, and so they didn't have one anymore.
Oh.
So I was like, Ryan, we need to get you up to Ayr. and we found this space, and he was like, man, like we don't live here, we don't know anyone here. I'm like, well, I'm here, so let's do it. Let's get him open. So he opened up, and after about a year of commuting, his practice flourished. He did really well. We decided to move up this way, or up that way, not this way. And Brantford was like the next biggest city. And we didn't know anybody. Like I knew no one.
So Kate has this skill. She has the skill of foresight. And it's interesting because this is how I think that this Norfolk office came to be, is that you saw something there and you got on it. Same with every other move you've made thus far in your career. Like, look at this, right? She found this gap and she's like, let's do this, let's move on it. And now here she
Very
is.
instinctual. Like when something happens and I see opportunity very clear. And I don't question my judgment on it. And that could be
intuition.
risky. Yeah, exactly. And I hold it very dear to me. If I get this feeling of this is a good move to make, I make it. So Norfolk was one of those things as well. Was I saw the market in Brantford ballooning and becoming almost unattainable to young people. And I thought, well, people aren't, in their 20s aren't going to be spending $850,000 on a house for their first home.
Yeah.
It's not feasible. Whereas Norfolk was so significantly below the average price, and it was a quick drive out of Brantford, and it was a small community like Brantford was 12, 15 years ago. Why wouldn't they come here? And they did. And they're doing it. And so we're set to open June 1st, and it's going to be great. And then we're looking to service those clients, right? Or even people who are like empty nesting, right?
Yeah.
You sell your family home and you make a lateral move. Like, people don't want to do that. They want to cash out. They want to put some money in reserve, right? And so Norfolk, once again, small town, spread out, less dense population, holds the same values as Brantford did 10, 12 years ago. Perfect opportunity.
Ooh, she's looking 10, 12 years ahead. How many of us do that?
How far is it from where we currently are right now?
From Toronto?
Yeah.
So Norfolk would be probably about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. It's got quick access to like Hamilton. If you're looking to retire, it's like Port Dover, Port Rowan. It's beaches, Long Point,
Turkey Point.
Yeah.
These are all these new up and coming little towns that are going to be super vacation towns, I think.
Yes, that's right. And that's the thing. And it's a lot of people go there for the summers and spring, and they've got so much waterfront, and it's just such a great little community.
I think we've really trained people not to travel and made it more trouble than it's worth to travel. So these communities are gonna. Kate knows what's up. Kate knows what's gonna happen. She sees it. She sees the
We're gonna blow it up.
That's right.
Okay, so another question, and this goes out to the both of you. How do you measure your success? I know you briefly mentioned it before, but Kate, how do you measure success?
It's very individualized. So I'm a big goal-oriented person. So when I set goals, they're goals that would satisfy me, and they have to come from a place of fulfillment. So that could be personal fulfillment, it could be spiritual fulfillment, it could be transactional, like obviously financial fulfillment. But I don't think that any goal should just be two-dimensional. It should have layers to it, right?
Yes.
And so when I set them out, they're very intentional to what I want in life. And actually, Bianca, you and I had a big conversation about this.
We did.
I always say never measure your success by other people's goals, because other people's goals is what they want for fulfillment. So whether you're transacting 50 or 25, you're both successful if those were your goals.
Yeah.
And the intention was for fulfillment for yourself. So I measure them based on transactional. One's the easiest one to measure, right? I mean, obviously it's numbers.
Yeah.
But spiritual and more personal goals is fulfillment and happiness. Like, do you feel content, right? Or do you have harmony in your life? Do you have a balance within your personal, like your family, your friends, your colleagues? That's, to me, more fulfilling goals. Those are things that, we live for at the end of the day. I mean, you can make millions of dollars, but if you're not happy internally, like spiritually, personally, if you don't have harmony in your life, you're not surrounded by good people. I don't think that those are goals that are met.
So what is a spiritual practice that you use? And I'm hoping that you say the one that we talked about, that has you, that gives you the ability to gauge how far you've come after a while.
Manifestation, my letter to my
our favorite word.
It's the letter. It's the letter.
Yeah. So recently this year, we're also coached by Kathleen Black. I did a letter from my future self. So the letter was dated for the end of the year, and it was me giving a synopsis of the year that I had just gone through. It's very specific, like the details of smells and sights and sounds and numbers and people and even the team expansion. Very, very specific goals. I even went into where I'm vacationing, what that vacation looked like, how did it feel to me, how did my kids feel. It's really manifesting what it is, the life that you want to look back on, right? So if it's from your future self, you've already lived it. And it's them describing it to you and giving you that hope of what you are about to go through. And so for me, it was very, very, very intentional to describe my personal, my professional, my spiritual, and just any little detail in between. And for me, that's a form of manifestation of what you're really looking to gain out of that year. And I will say that I carry that letter around with me.
She carries it with her. She doesn't throw it in a corner after she's written the letter, done the exercise. No. She carries that thing with her.
Every day. Yes. Yeah, every day. And then at the end of the year, I will read that letter again. I will not open it. I will not change it, but I will look back on it, and I will do this every year.
So this isn't the first time that you're doing this?
This is the first time I've done it from my future self.
I got you.
But I have laid out affirmations where you're kind of giving yourself timelines on what you're going to achieve. It doesn't necessarily have to be business-wise. It could be, I'm going to meet this person and they're going to bring this to my life. Or I'm really looking for harmony in my spirituality, so I plan on doing this. And then you do find that those things happen, but I really loved the spin on looking back on the year from your future self and laying it out for your present self.
Yeah. Like there's so much power in that.
It is so much power in that. And then you remember it and you visualize. And I think the key here when you're doing these kinds of exercising is actually physically visualizing it. You have to get into a really calm space to visualize detail, smells, sights, sounds of what is about to happen. It's almost like you have to.
Our brain doesn't know the difference
between
what it's thinking about and what it's feeling in reality at all.
No, so the power in it is the visualization and being able to physically see these events happening and keeping them at the forefront of your mind at all times, right? Because they have to be things that you truly want. That's another thing I do believe. It's not like,
I want $10 million.
Yeah, I want to ride Lamborghini. That to me is like wishful thinking. It's like you have to take yourself through the journey.
Yeah.
You have to physically walk through your future self.
I like that.
It's a really good exercise.
I've done it. I just haven't carried it with me, but now I'm going to.
Yeah, put it in an envelope, seal it, and keep it with you.
That's it. And then that's another way to kind of gauge how far you've come and to really affirm to yourself that this type of exercise works. It works.
Oh yeah.
That's the special thing about it. You open that thing up and you go, holy crap, I manifested all of that.
Yeah.
That came to me. Yeah.
It is. And it's that power of pursuit.
Yes.
Right? You're pursuing these things that you're visualizing. And when you see yourself going through the motions to connect yourself to these visions, you start to do them.
Yeah, for sure. And you don't even realize that. It's interesting because one of my coaches and mentors who's going to be on our podcast as well, he talks about the importance of visualizing and how once, when we're kids, there's so much power in that. But when you're an adult, you can't do that anymore. You can't daydream, but there's so much power in doing that because it's a constant reminder to your mind that, hey, no, this is what I actually want, right? I mean, I'm sure when we were kids, there were so many things we wanted and we think about it all the time. And then at some point we have it there, right?
Yes.
We don't really realize what's going on at that moment. And as adults, I think we need to continue doing that clearly. Like you look
You're
back.
a testament to this. I mean,
yeah.
Right? We have talked a lot about success. I'd like to talk a little bit about failure.
It's one of my favorites. Let's go.
That's it. Let's dig deep. Let's dig deep.
All the time.
So I want to talk about maybe a time in your life where you really thought that it was, I feel like you would never think something's the end, but something that really pushed your buttons in terms of feeling either like you were going to give up or you were going to fail immensely at something and that was going to affect you deeply.
I mean, I'll be honest, and I've been pretty vocal about this. When I was pregnant with my third child, I was suffering from burnout, and it was an extreme burnout. I had been working 16, 17-hour days for years. I had toddlers. I was pregnant. Obviously, when you have two kids and you're pregnant, you slow down. Your body doesn't move the same. You don't have the same energy levels. And I didn't understand the disconnect between who I was and where I wanted to go. And I didn't have a vision. I think that's the biggest thing is I couldn't see where I was going with all of this. With the team, I felt like I was not giving my best self to myself and to everyone around me. I thought, how can I continue to do it at this level? I'm obviously letting everybody down, including myself, my family, my team members. I'm miserable. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna have 3 children.
Mom guilt.
Is this for me?
Yeah.
Mom guilt.
Yeah.
Oh my God, everything. And there was a point in time there where I thought, do I want this? Like literally, do I want this? And I felt guilty thinking about that, because I'm thinking I'm affecting so many other people's lives around me if I folded this, but I don't know if I want this. And I sat with it for a while. And then when I did have my third child, I was like, I do want this. I want this because I looked at him and I thought, oh my God, like all the things I've built, the dreams I've created were just masked because I was tired and I was exhausted, but I need to do something different. Yeah. And the failure came in where I took on too much. I'm a yes person. I don't know if you we're doing it. Let's do it. That's right. It's the yes. It's the I never set boundaries. I never set boundaries for myself or for other people. And that, you can't blame other people if you don't set the boundaries.
Yeah.
I always felt like I had to do it all myself. I felt like I couldn't let anybody down. And the problem with that is I let myself down first, and then I started to let everyone else around me down because I had no boundaries. None at all. I didn't say no. I didn't feel like I was allowed to say no. Setting boundaries with the people you love is the biggest win for everybody.
The best way to tell them you love them.
It is.
Right there.
It is. Yeah. And it's setting an expectation for, this is how I want to be treated. This is what I feel I'm capable of. And just because I'm not able to be everything to everybody doesn't mean that I won't be there. It just means that, you know what, 7:00 at night, it's time with my family. I may not be able to answer your phone call at that point in time, unless it's an emergency, of course. But that's where it's like I set the boundary, but I kind of loosen it up a little bit, right? And us as women, we do that all the time.
But it's also based on the moment, how you feel. If you're in serious family time, obviously you're gonna reconsider it. But if you're sitting around, you're like, okay, kids are watching TV, I can pick up this phone call, I'll pick it up. You know,
of course, it's not, right? But it's about setting reasonable expectations for yourself and adhering to them and following through with them, and being able to have difficult conversations with the people around you that are transparent and still full of love, but they now have that expectation of what you're expecting, right? And you can't falter someone else for not adhering to your boundaries if they don't even know what they are.
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh, powerful stuff.
It's huge.
Powerful stuff.
It is
that's
really
what causes
huge.
failure. Honestly, it really does. And it's not even just failure. It's more so you just feel a sense of let down, right? And everyone else around you feels that too.
And that's like one of the worst feelings to feel. I don't know, at least that for me, that's one of the things I've been struggling with a lot, is feeling like I'm letting people down because I'm not as accessible as I used to be. Right? And
wow, I wish I felt bad about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I like a little bit of a sociopath? I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I don't feel bad about that. I'm like, can't do it. Sorry. Yeah. Wow.
That's a good way to be, though. You know what? That's it. There's nothing wrong with being open and transparent about what you really need. Yeah. I actually admire that, quite frankly. If someone looks at me and says, you know, I know you need me to do this, but I just simply can't. And it's like, okay, you know what? Thank you. There's too much wishy-washiness that goes around, right? And it causes a divide in communication. It causes a divide in body language. You know, why is this person resenting me? Well, I didn't do anything. You're the one that said you could do it. And it's like, yeah, but you know what? I didn't want to let you down, but it's like, that's where it starts to snowball, right? So setting boundaries is a big one.
So Kate, are you ever going to write a book?
Oh my God, no.
Has anyone ever asked you if you're going to write a book?
Funny enough, I was just talking to Jess, and Jess is like, you need to write a book. I'm like,
you might have to write a book.
You'd be surprised.
I love it.
Or who would listen to it in their car, Bianca.
Yeah, I'd be listening to that and sending it off to everybody. Listen to this. So you know what I got from what you said earlier? So I went to film school, and I see everything in movie scenes. And there's a sort of, in every single action movie or any movie really, there's always a hero's journey, right? And there's this portion of time where the hero doesn't really, first of all, the hero is not up to the task at all. The hero denies the task at all costs. He or she is like, no way, this is not for me. You got the wrong person. I can't do this. I'm not the guy. Leave me alone. And keeps running away from their destiny. And destiny refuses to stop knocking and chasing. And so the character gets met with destiny, and then he gets beat the F up again, and he fails, and there's these obstacles, and that's further validation for him. Oh my God, I can't do this. Obviously I can't do this. This isn't, I was right all along. You were wrong. I'm not the guy. I'm not the girl. Get away from me. Yeah. And there's this portion of walking away walking away from that dream, walking away from that goal, that obstacle, that thing that's going to save the world. And this moment in time where there's courage and there's a change of something inside this character pressed up against all things. They know in that moment, if they don't turn around and go after destiny, they could regret that moment forever. And so they turn around, they face it, similar to what you did in that moment. You turned around and you said, I do want this. I am going to be pressed up against it. I'm going to fight for it. And then here you are, the hero's journey, right over that hump.
Yeah, and it actually and all the things felt like that, to be honest. It was,
she's like, imagine. Did you just write my whole, do you want to write my screenplay?
Pretty much. Hired. And you know what, though? It's funny, though, because I actually remember the pinnacle point. There's actually a post on my Instagram that I made, and it was me sitting on my couch at 5 o'clock in the morning with a coffee, just in my sweater, however I woke up that morning, and I talked about putting myself, not necessarily first, it didn't have to be me first. It just had to be me too. I had to be a part of it, right? I had to find something in myself to give myself the courage to keep going. How did that look? Well, it meant that I needed some more personal time. I needed to take care of my body. I had to take care of my mind. I had to take care of my family, because they always say what happens when the masks come down in a plane, put yours on first. Right? You need the oxygen before you can help anybody else. Mm-hmm. And that was where I was failing, was I wasn't allocating any time for me, which means that I was so exhausted to give my time to others.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because I did a whole post about this, and it was for women to be like, you know what? It's okay to have downtime. It's okay to give yourself an hour a day. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay even with your families. Yeah. It's okay to set those boundaries. And that was a pinnacle moment where I was like, I have the courage to move forward. I see the vision so clearly now of exactly what I want. And no matter what way I do to get there, I have to keep these values in line. I will not waver on them. And that's the early mornings, the fitness, the nourishment, the downtime. I need that to sustain myself so I can sustain this business, my family, and everything else.
There's something that we never talk about, and it's those absolutely unproductive days that I know many of us have. That day when you wake up and you go, screw it, I'm watching TV all day.
Not today,
chips.
Satan.
You go screw it and you watch TV all day. I don't know if anyone's done this, but I'm sure that there are people out there that sometimes you don't give yourself permission to be okay with the fact that you had a really shitty day that wasn't productive. Yes. Okay, you had an unproductive day, you watched television, you ate chips. The guilt sets in, great. But sometimes we have to give ourselves permission for that, because we talk here a lot about motivation and being like a go-getter constantly, 24/7. Get up and do this and do that. And I think that there's this taboo thing around like being not a superpower person daily, 24/7, 7 days a week. And it's true, to reach a level of success, you do have to be that sort of thing. But for the rest of us mere mortals, it's okay. It's okay to have a day or two where you kind of screw up and you're like, I'm a loser. Why did I do that? I could have done that.
Yeah. It's not even screwing up. I think
shouldn't have that. It's true. You shouldn't have that stupid negative self-talk. Yes. But that whatever action it is that brings on that self-talk, to give yourself more forgiveness for it is what I'm saying.
Forgiveness for sure.
You know what I mean? Yes.
And I also think we sometimes need the rest. Like I often think that when we hear hustle, go, obviously it's important. Consistency is very important. Yes. You mentioned that. Yeah. But also I think the more we rest, the more we have time to recharge, and that way we can get back the next day. And rest to different people means different things. Yes, to some, resting means being off of the computer, being off of the phone, simply just that, turning off notifications. For others, rest means vacation, going to the spa without any electronics, right? And so I think we sometimes lose that because we're so go.
And nobody talks about it. And that's the thing, learn when to rest, not quit. Yeah. Because if you burn out,
can we just go back in this episode and just write a bunch of quotes?
I know, we're going to pull some out. I already have some.
It's the truth though, right? I mean, once again, learn when to rest, not quit. Because if you don't rest, you will quit. Yeah. Your body needs that time to recharge, refocus, and regroup. And if you don't give it that, you will quit. You will burn out. I was walking that line.
A lot of people, yeah.
walking that line. And I'm not ashamed of it. It became very aware of what I needed, and I was neglecting those signs. I was like, well, no, I can't sit down. I don't have time to do that. I can't not work today. I have to do this and I have to get this done. It's like, well, actually, for who?
You sound like me. Oh my God.
Yeah. But you can't be like that, right?
Yeah.
You have to give yourself the grace to say, you know what? Today is not the day, and I am not the one.
Yeah. There's another one in the books. I love that one too. That's so good. Right? So.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of power in resting. Like this for me is very therapeutic.
Yes.
And being able to take the day off today, my little cousin's with me. She has, doesn't have school today. I'm like, let's spend the day downtown. That's important. And, this is still part of our business, meeting people. I was hoping to meet you for so long. We're here, we're connecting with other people, right? And so, yeah, maybe we're not working, but we're doing other things that are good for our souls.
Yes. And that was I'm so happy you said that, because I was go my whole career. And finally I was like, I'm done with this. I said no so many times to podcasts and meetings and luncheons and play dates. And it was because it wasn't income producing. And then I realized that the income was fulfillment. When you actually sat down with people you cared about, you made connections. And now people are like, you want to be on that? I'm like, yes, when?
Let's do it. Yeah. Kate gave us this.
Can I have a White Claw?
As being the first one. Yeah. We did not have a White Claw before the show started. What White Claw? What happened? I don't know what you're talking about.
But this is right? And I have now since made so many connections with so many wonderful people that I just thoroughly enjoy, and they've touched my soul, and I'm so grateful for their connection and relationship. And it's been so fulfilling, more than any transaction that I've ever done in my business,
right,
has been the people.
If you're happier, you're out there and you're able to make more transactions. And
For
you said
sure.
it's not income producing, but I really think it is income producing.
But yeah,
Not directly,
yeah,
just
yes.
directly, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
and there's more. They're like, it's all about, when you're starting your business. Okay, yes, we need money to live, and we need money to pay our bills, and of course, and we like nice things. We like to go on vacations. Yeah.
Stupid having to live in the matrix.
But really, the currency is different in different aspects of your life.
Wow.
Right? And fulfillment for me, especially on a personal level, this last couple years, more than ever, being, separated and segregated from the people we love, and maybe not being able to be in contact in person so much, there is nothing that will take that away from me again. Never.
Ooh. Can we talk about can we talk about the Great Resignation? Have you heard of this term?
I need to hear it.
So this is apparently the last year or so where like a huge portion of people are quitting their jobs, and we had all this time to think for 2 years.
Yes.
Think deeply.
Yes. We were given this gift of, we had a lot taken from us, but we had this immense gift hidden in all of that, which was, wow, you have to sit there and think. You have to sit there and be alone with your thoughts. Mm-hmm. You don't get to listen to music on the subway or be distracted by other things that are happening at work, in the cubicles. Your phone's not going off like crazy. All you got is a Zoom meeting you're doing in your underwear, and then you're back to being with yourself. Of course, you're wearing a suit jacket at the top and then underwear, whatever, however you do it. But then you have to sit and you have to be with your thoughts.
And look at yourself in the mirror.
And look at yourself in the mirror in your underwear and your suit and go, what am I doing? What is this? I quit. So yeah, there's this amazing resignation happening where people are being so pulled towards more of what Kate's talking about, which is this fulfillment and doing things that are creating impacts, and they're taking this work thing a lot less seriously. And this is why I think these big giant conglomerates are coming in with all this automated stuff. They literally they have the foresight to see that human beings are moving in this new trajectory, which is fulfillment, other people, passions and goals and connection. So this
and there's nothing more powerful than that.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion, right? I mean, once again, we were caught in a rat race. I mean, I was in it. I full-heartedly say that. Like my outlook on life 3 years ago and now is very different, vastly different. Still have the same values, but I've learned to slow down and realize that connection and relationships and time and space are very much immediate and present, versus, trying to chase something that it's not tangible. That rat race is not tangible.
Yeah.
That get up, grind, grind, kill yourself for grinding, you know, hate on yourself for all the things that you did wrong in the day. And then you come home and you're like, did I hug anybody? Did I tell anyone that I love them? Did I have a good connection? Did I have a laugh? Did I, you know, meet a friend for lunch? Did I have a glass of wine with, you know, a neighbor? Those are the things that are important.
We do everything else to get to those moments.
Yeah.
Like those are actually, it's so funny because we skip all of those to do all the other stuff, but really we're doing all the other stuff so we can enjoy these moments.
And we use life as a reward.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
if
crazy.
I just get through the next 3 months, I get to go on that vacation.
Is she on fire? Is she not on fire? Can I just stop her?
But it's the truth, right?
Life is a reward when life is what we should be living.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is the reward. You know, like, oh my God, if I just get through these next 3 months, I get to go on that vacation. It should be like, no. I'm going on that vacation because I deserve to live.
Yes.
And I've done all of this to live. And that's the problem. And that's what the life that we were all living was. We were using life as a reward to get through our days. That's terrible.
There's this amazing quote, and I wish I knew who it was by, but it says to contemplate death and to contemplate it often. And that we do not think of death nearly as often as we should. And that it's a very important thing to contemplate daily, to have a moment where you think, today is the last day. How would I feel about today being the last day? How would I feel about tomorrow being the last day?
You would live very differently.
You would live very
100%.
differently. You would look at everything in your path in a completely different manner.
Even your energy would be completely different. Even the way that you would go up to people or speak to people or just, you know, because when you know you have the rest of your life to, okay, I'm not going to do it today, you know?
That's right. You put it
But
off.
you put it off, like, okay, I'll do it
as a
another
reward.
time. Yeah, but then when you realize and you put things into perspective and, you know, this may be my last day, how would I speak to this person? What would I do for this individual?
I think if someone's ever had a real health scare, they've realized that they've seen exactly just that. Let's say you've had, who knows, knock on wood, like a lump or something, and you had this moment between like getting a result and not getting a result where your entire life changed because you see the absolute light and beauty in everything, in a carpet, in a table, in the sunlight, in your family's face, and all the things that you were prideful about, all of that melts away in the act and the moment of contemplation of death. So it's so important to do.
Yeah,
to be able to see that beauty. I do that
and
often.
we're trying not to be, we're not being negative. We're just saying we have to put things into perspective,
and
right?
if it means thinking that way, then do it, because you're missing these beautiful moments around you in your life that are they're so important to the overall quality of your entire life you've lived. These little moments, that's what makes it.
That is right. It's all in the small details.
Ooh, we love that. You know, when we started this podcast, we were like, we can't talk that long. And now we're
I'm sorry, you put 3 women in a room at a table.
We're like, half an hour will be good.
Yeah. We called him up and we're like, I don't know if we can like do it. Last time we're like, how much time do we have? He's like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. She's like 50 minutes. I'm like, we've been talking for 55 minutes. She's like, we have? I'm like, I know it felt like 5, but
so it flows, right?
Yeah.
And especially when you get people in the room that they don't always have to share the same vision, but you can definitely enjoy the journey of each person, right? And when you get women together who are like-minded, positive growth mindsets, want to see other women succeed, and I mean men too, Dean's in the room, so then, you know, those things become easy to chat about. And I love differing perspectives. That's another thing that I love. If someone has a polarizing perspective of me, I'm so intrigued to hear why.
yeah.
Tell me why. Give me all the information. Don't you feel that way? I do.
Totally.
I love it.
Totally.
I don't want to be around people that are just like, oh yeah, we agree with everything you say. Challenge me.
I think you're like that.
me.
You challenge people a lot and perspectives and stuff.
My favorite thing to do.
I value that. I really love that.
I value it too.
That makes you start to question the way you view something, and then you're like, oh wait, you know what? Maybe you're right. Let me reconsider this, or let me go do some additional research. Let me see how I feel about this.
I'm very gentle in my approach. Somebody will ask me for advice and I'll be like, should I do this? And I'll look at them like, should you? And just let them handle it. And I'm like, wow, thank you. And I'm like, oh,
But even at the very end, if you agree to disagree, I bet you've just added depth to your own values or your own opinion, right? A good perspective is one that's well-rounded. Right? I mean, something that is not just so polarizing opposite that you haven't considered the other side.
Right.
You need consideration of both sides in order to have a really, in my opinion, a well-rounded opinion.
So to sort of like wrap up the podcast, we want to know what is next. What's the next 5-10 years looking for? looking like for Kate Broddick?
Well, I'm going to say that in the immediate future, it's just getting those offices opening.
Which is huge.
Yes, I'm all picked out of finishes and I'm over it. So getting those up and running, and then honestly, really nurturing and harnessing the talents and strengths of the people that I have on the team. Ooh. I don't have any plans for another major growth. I think that I feel very fulfilled and satisfied with the people that are around us. I think just like I helped grow the people that were on the team prior and spent those years doing that, that's what I want to do next. Is I really want to take the people like Bianca and our other agents and what can we do? Because I think we're like literally on the trajectory.
I feel like
scale.
she has plans for me. I'm so excited.
We are like ready to go. But I feel like we've done the expansion. So that's great. And everybody just has such a beautiful role on the team. But like we're at ground zero. We got a lot of ways up to go. Oh, yeah. So why not spend the time nurturing that? And I think that's what the next 5 years for sure looks like. And then, of course, a lot of people have asked me, am I going to be selling at that capacity? And the answer is no. Yeah. The next 5 years, I hope to move into more of a CEO mindset where I'm running the business and giving the girls the business that I have so enjoyed over the last would be 15 years and growing them. That will be my next journey of fulfillment, is watching the successes of them, because I've had that. And I feel like passing it on and watching them tap into their potentials and geniuses and hey, where can we pull you? Let's walk the line together, baby.
Yeah, that's really what brought me, like really magnetized me towards Kate, was that she genuinely loves seeing women succeed. Like when I first started, and granted, even the two men that are on the team, they're husbands.
Yeah.
They're not husbands together. They're husbands of each.
I can do that too, though.
Yeah. So, they're best friends.
Yes.
And they're best friends.
Oh, that's
and like this super empowering female group attracted me so much. I'm just like, wow, where else in the world can I fit in where I can just be, a powerful female? I love it. And she supports that entirely, and that's what I love about you.
I love that.
I do. There's something about it too, and it's so funny. It's not like I was in some like burn your bra group or something. It was like I think that women are.
It's not toxic femininity or feminism.
Not. It's not
healthy.
at all. It's very healthy. It's very nurturing. It's very celebratory. Yeah. I truly believe, and once again, I love men, Dean, but there is something so wildly beautiful about a woman.
Yes.
Like the ability to create life, the ability to sustain and nurture, this like unconditional love that we were pretty much born with. Yeah. I just think women are just so underutilized in this world, and they have a special power, that
the gift to truly empower our men.
That's right.
That is something really important that I think is lacking right now.
They are just so unbelievable creatures. And to watch a woman come out of her shell is like, to me, is like, you go, girl. I am there all day
I'm there rooting for you.
Yeah, I am there, and I am going to cheer for you, because I just think it's so wonderful to see. I really do.
And I think that that also really highlights the importance of collaborating, because you have a team full of women, right? Yeah. And I'm sure, I mean, I haven't been there, but I'm sure if I walk into your office, I'll feel the energy of collaboration. Yes. And that's huge.
And it took us time to get there too. It wasn't perfect. Yeah. You know, it's finding your way and recognizing your role and
finding your place.
Exactly. And those are things. That's right. And like, don't get me wrong, we're like the sisterhood of the traveling pants. Like we're like, you could be like two sisters fighting for like a hairbrush, and then the next day it's like, you talked to my girl that way and you got me to deal with now. Exactly. So it's good, but it's we have a great culture.
Ooh, we love it. We love it, Kate. We are so grateful to have had you on the show as our first guest.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
What a mind-blowing episode. All these quotes, like, I'm gonna have to re-listen to this a few times.
Yeah, I'll have to trademark them.
Yes, you do that. I would love it. I'm gonna start charging people for her quotes if I ever see them anywhere.
You heard it here first.
Yes. So that's it. We're going to wrap up our Find Your Place podcast. I can, for one, say I found my place with the Kate Broddick team. I'm so excited for the future. And yeah, you have anything else to say?
Kate, thank you so much for being here. And I hope I'll be invited to your big launch.
Yes.
2 big launches.
1,000%.
So I don't drive far often, but I will come out there just to congratulate you all. And I'm so excited.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for having me.
Sing some songs on the way there.
You got it.
Thank you so much, Kate. And stay tuned for our next episode. We have another amazing guest joining us.
One last thing.
Yes.
Let's make sure that we let everybody know where to find Kate Broddick. Where do we find you?
Instagram is probably the best. Agent.Kate is the Instagram handle. And then if you want to go to the Kate Broddick team, Instagram page, you can find us there. And then it's the same on all other platforms.
You heard it here. Find Your Place podcast. Another plug. I love it.
And Bianca, where can we find you?
Ooh, you can find me at Bianca.
Ready for it? Ready?
Realty to reality. Bianca.realty to reality. That's my name. And where can we find you, Jess?
Jess Sold on Instagram.
Yes, we love that.
I love that.
Just Sold. I love that. It's such a good play on words. It's like Find Your Place. I love it.
Awesome. We are looking forward to seeing you all on our next episode, and have a great long weekend.
We'll see you soon.